Another edition of Wings Weekly starts now. Jake Kleinknecht here, along with head coach Scott Langer, as is usually the case. Coach, really a pretty strong weekend, even though, a split with the top team in the league when it comes to wins, points. They're down one or two, but they've got the most wins in the entire league. You lose 3-0 Friday. The penalty kill allowed one, and then of course, the empty netter. So maybe it looks a little different on paper, but not a terribly played game. I mean, I don't know if that's the right way to put that. But you and I talked before Saturday's matchup, and you felt like you played a pretty good hockey game on Friday night, huh?
Yeah, we did. I mean, we gave up the early one there on the penalty kill. Sure like to have that one back, but until we gave up that second goal, our push was really good. We were creating opportunities. We were getting chances. Probably could have used a little more traffic in front of their net, but we played a pretty complete hockey game. We just didn't get the result we wanted.
Mm-hmm. And a good crowd on hand, and again, unfortunately coming up with a loss there on Friday night, but a great response coming back on Saturday. And I always say when you have a skate with the Wings or something like that going on afterwards, it's always a heck of a lot more fun after a win. Saturday, a 5-2 win. You got 2 power play goals, and the power play has really been clicking. You're 50% on Saturday night, 100% on Saturday night in Austin, and your PK was strong there on Saturday night as well. What were the differences? What did you guys, as a staff, what did you see, or what do you attribute that to?
Well, I mean, we made some corrections going into the second night, but I mean, the effort that our guys brought out of the locker room was really good. I mean, we touched pucks first all over the ice. We're not giving a whole, heck of a lot up, and our guys were sharp. We were breaking pucks out pretty well, which was giving us clean exits, which was allowing us to create offense. So, and then the power play was big again. Getting those 2 power play goals was big. The first goal of the game, again, we're a pretty good team when we get that first goal right out of the gate. We did that, and we were good. We were a good hockey team. It was good to see Croy step in and get that big win for us in that,
and he made some huge saves.
Oh, he did, and then in this division, you're going to get asked to make some big saves. So, and at this time of the year, you got to get the ones you're not supposed to get, and you got to get the ones you're supposed to get. So, but he came in. He hasn't played a whole lot of games, lately with the way that Adam's been playing, and he stepped up and did a great job. So, but really good effort from our guys to respond. We never want to lose 2 in a row, and it's hard to make the playoffs if you do. So, but it was a good response.
No doubt. Strong performance in many aspects, and I really honestly felt like Croy should have probably got a star for the performance that he put on, because he did make some big saves and so on. But defensively, as you said, there was a lot going on in the neutral zone. There was a lot. It wasn't extended pressure in either zone really. And Pollock, one of the things you and I talked about. Again, these weeks and months, they just run together for me. But it wasn't too long ago that you and I talked about face-offs and the importance of starting early and starting with the puck when you have it. And he's been pretty darn strong. There's all the centermen have been much better at the face-off dot. But then on top of it, for him to come up with a couple of big goals, one of which he smacks out of the air, which made a highlight reel for the NAHL. How important has that been? Like I said, I know you and I have talked over years and years about starting with the puck and winning those face-offs, but you're doing a better job of that.
Yeah, and we needed to. When we were going through our tough stretch there, we were consistently losing a lot of draws. Statistically we weren't good, and when we did start winning hockey games, it was the direct correlation of we were starting with the puck. Anytime you start with the puck in any 3 zones, you're forcing the opposition to have to chase the game against you, as opposed to you chasing them. So it's a big part. I mean, we talked about it before. There's close to 60 on average, 60 face-offs in a hockey game, and the more times you can start with the puck, puck, you know, the more offense and the better you're going to be in your defensive zone and or on the penalty kill when you can start with the puck and put them on their heels as opposed to them starting with possession and getting right into their you know, structure. So you can definitely tell when our team's winning face-offs, we're a different hockey team.
Yeah, and it is. You know, board battles, the battles at the dot, all of them, you know, it really does. Well, and honestly, that kind of transitions again to my next question. I feel like a lot of times, week in and week out, I'm asking you the same questions, you know, but it's always nice to hear you guys break this stuff down. But I wanted to ask you a little bit about the identity, because we've talked about consistency, we've talked about all kinds of things over the last few weeks. Usually this time of year, your team especially, not a team, but your team especially has an identity. Do you feel like that's coming around? Do you feel like there is one now?
Yeah, I think you can tell that the games we win are played exactly the same way, you know, for the last month and a half or whatever, 2 months it's been here. The games we win, we're a physical team. We're always around the net. We're tough to push away from that area of the ice. We're good defensively. And our goaltending is excellent. The tandem we have is really good, and it allows us to play a certain style. But our identity is simple when we win. You know, we don't cheat the ice surface. We're a 200-foot hockey team, and you can't sit and tell us, oh, you know, they're really good defensively or they're really good offensively. No, when we win, we're a good 200-foot hockey team, and we're defending well and we're attacking well.
Well, and it kind of goes back to the consistency, but, you know, for a while there, it really felt like one step forward, one step back, and then forward again, and you're going back and forth, but lately here, you know, you're starting to string some wins together, and you know, we'll talk standings here in just a moment here too, because you went from 5th to 3rd last week in St. Cloud. A couple of teams actually had out-of-division games, and you know, they take a stride, but, you know, you're in the hunt. You're right there, and obviously Minot has a bit of a lead at the top of the division when it comes to wins and, well, points in the division, but wins overall. And you know, it's going to be interesting as we go down the home stretch, so to speak, as we get down to the nitty-gritty part of this season. And that being said, a strong weekend. We're not going to break that apart anymore. It was, you know, it was a big win on Saturday night, and I'm sure the boys were feeling good. And like you said, goaltending was fantastic. You had guys scoring from all over the place. And somebody asked me actually this morning, even, I said, "Wow, you're seeing scoring from all over the place." And I've mentioned it. You and I have talked about it from the blue line, from different lines, wherever they're coming. You know, those goals, when you are scoring, they're coming from a lot of different guys. So that's a big thing, that you're not relying necessarily on one particular person or one line or whatever it might be. That being said, let's move on. You've announced and came up with the top prospect players. I wanted to ask you a little bit about this, and I know you've coached it, you've head coached it, you've assistant coached it, you've been there for years and years and years. What goes into selecting the top prospect players? And I'm going to talk to one of them here in just a little bit, but what goes into selecting these guys? Is that a solely you, or is that something?
No, it's not. It's actually solely up to the two coaches that coach the team. You know, we get to pick a certain amount of players, and they get to decide who they're going to pick out of those players. So
is that right? Oh, I didn't know. Really?
So yeah, I mean, it's you put the guys that you think have earned it, and then they put their team in. The majority of the time, they put their 5 players in, or whatever they do, and both those top teams put their 5 players in, so 10 teams automatically in, and then you're just filling up different spots that you need to fill to make a hockey team.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept that I've been back and forth on it. I mean, the league does a great job with it. I think there's a lot of good hockey players left out of it because of it's based on seeding. It's not based on talent. and that's not to take anything away from the players that are going. You know, it's a good event for those guys to get showcased by a lot of schools, and you're honoring the teams that finished high, and I've been very fortunate to be there, you know, and take a lot of players along the way for many years. But I don't know. It's you know, you put your players in. You hope they get some good vision on them, and they come back with a positive experience. It's always a tough tournament because you play two hard fought games on the weekend, and you travel all day Sunday, and then you're already playing Monday, Tuesday. So guys really got to take care of themselves, and you know, this year I'll be on the outside just watching, watching our guys and enjoying them having fun out there.
Well, that's funny you say that, because I was going to ask you, well, first of all, that is kind of a mind blower, because I didn't realize that. I thought that the teams picked the players that went, but the way you're describing it is that the coaches that are coaching the team actually are the ones that build the team. Like, do they need defensemen? Do they need a centerman? Do they need those? That's interesting, and I didn't realize that. But does it take any pressure off of you, or allow you maybe to enjoy it a little more when you know you're able to watch your guys and cheer them on?
I don't know. I mean, if I'm going to be there, I'd probably rather just be behind the bench and helping guys out and helping them showcase their ability, you know, and make them understand what it takes to do that. But you know, I got a lot to do when I get there, so I'll be busy. But the hardest part is in not being able to put that team together is there's guys in this locker room that are deserving of being there.
Sure.
And it's hard to sit one-on-one with them and explain to them, you know, why they didn't get that opportunity. So that's probably the hardest part for me this year, is there is some guys that are having fantastic seasons for us that didn't get the nod.
Oh, wow. That is truly a surprise to me, and I bet you there's a lot, excuse me, a lot of people out there that are probably interested in that. So I appreciate that insight. That's pretty cool. Of all the years I've done this, I guess I've never asked that question, apparently, because I didn't know it. Standings in the Central Division right now: Minot 57 points, top of the division. Bismarck with 48 in second, then St. Cloud in 43rd. Wayne with 42 in fourth, and Austin 38, and North Iowa with 20. You've got North Iowa next. You've got a lot of games coming up against North Iowa. Now, they played Springfield Junior Blues over the weekend here and came up with a few wins, and they're probably feeling some confidence and feeling pretty good about the way things are going. What do you see as some keys against North Iowa, which again is a team that you've seen recently and will see more of for sure, and you've clearly seen a lot of video on them and so on.
Yeah, hot team, you know, swept the weekend. I'm sure they're super excited to have done that out of division, which is a whole nother discussion for another day you and I can have. But you know, they've made 4 or 5 changes here since we've seen them a couple weeks ago, so they're a better hockey team again. Yeah, I mean, we got to be good. You know, it's just, I tell you the same thing all the time. We worry about ourselves in this locker room. We play our game a certain way. You talk about our identity. If you watch our teams, you're going to know how we play. We just got to be good, and we got to make sure that we understand that we're trying to climb the standings, because it is going to come right down to the final weekend. It always does in the Central Division. And we need to take points because we're at home. And you know, we go back on the road again after this weekend, all the way back to Austin, which is always a hard place to play. And you know, and then our guys leave to go to Prospects. So we got to take care of our home ice.
Well, you answered my next question already, which was that, you know, the North Iowa, seeing them as much as you have and knowing that you're going to play them that much, I was going to ask if the key is to continue to work on yourself, or do you start at this point in the season, do you start to focus on other teams and start to go, here's what they do, we need to do this? But you already answered that. It's still all about improvement.
It's 90-10.
Yeah.
It's 90-10. I think that we still have a long way to go as far as our growing our game. We've come a long way, but we still need to continue to get better. But when we do win, there is somewhat of an equation. When you watch video, you see how we play. When we win, we're playing a certain way, and we're not cheating the game very much at all. North Iowa is a hockey team that has good speed. They're very creative offensively. Their goaltending has given us a lot of issues that we have to make sure we work on this week, and getting in the right areas and giving goaltenders a tough time in net. But
Bodies in front, taking eyes away, all that stuff.
All the stuff that it's hard to do when you're 73 practices in. Guys can't battle every single day. So, they're going to be, every game's tough. They've given us a tough time. We've given them a tough time. It's going to be a good series, so I look forward to it.
I certainly do too. All right, folks, I know that you all do too, and we'll have more details about those games and about some of the fun things that are going on with corporate sponsors and Kids Night and all those kinds of things here in just a little bit. But Coach, like I was saying earlier, sometimes I feel like week in and week out I ask the same questions. I feel like the answers are often different, and that's why I ask the same questions in some senses, because each game is different. Either the outcome is different. Everything is changed. But as always, I appreciate you taking some time to join us and to kind of pick your brain a little bit, and really you're interested in the top prospect stuff, because I didn't know that. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back with the second portion of Wings Weekly coming up after this. Coach, thanks so much and good luck against North Iowa.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, folks, we'll be back after this.
Lights Bar and Event Center is your official home for the Aberdeen Wings. Stop down for an ice-cold beer or drink and choose from one of the many excellent food options on their menu, available for both lunch and dinner. And when your Aberdeen Wings are on the road trying to earn their way back to the Robertson Cup Championship, come on down to City Lights and watch the away games as the audio and video are streamed live. City Lights Bar and Event Center, the official home for the Aberdeen Wings on South 2nd Street, just south of the overpass in Aberdeen.
Second portion of Wings Weekly continues on as, usually the case. Now, once or twice a year we have the assistant coach or somebody like that on, or maybe even once in a while I've been able to have athletic trainer Bailey Shawn on or whatever, or Greg Odie, whatever. But in this case, once again, we've got a player joining us, and it is Wes Turner of Granite Bay, California. I got a lot of questions about all that, but you've bounced around a little bit. You've played in the BCHL, you played in the AJ, you've played around. Tell us a little bit about your start in hockey, and how you ended up in the North American Hockey League and how you became an Aberdeen Wing.
Well, to start juniors, I started in the BCHL with Wenatchee, and then things just didn't work out. Got traded to Brooks in the AJ. Was there for quite a while, 2 years, 2 seasons, and then just battled some injuries, and then ended up here, and I've been loving it ever since.
Yeah. Well, what was your, so again, being from California, now British Columbia is a heck of a lot of a warmer environment from what I know anyway. Has there been any culture shock coming to Aberdeen, South Dakota? Cold, snowy, flat, small town. Have you kind of been like, what the heck? What have I got myself into at all?
I think the biggest thing is the small town vibes, being from California near Sacramento, pretty big city.
Oh yeah.
So that's definitely the biggest culture shock, is just being a small town with less things to do.
There's some advantages though,
yeah.
Right? I mean, when you guys go out to Qdoba or whatever else, and people recognize you, that's not going to happen probably in Sacramento or around in those areas. So I'd like to think that there's some positives that you can take
for sure. And then it's definitely because it's such a small town, you're hanging out with your teammates a lot more, and I think that's a big thing for just team bonding,
culture, building that.
Exactly.
Well, and I think I once timed it. I think I can get anywhere in this town in 12 minutes. So that I bet you can't do in California.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
All right, so you've had some highlights in your career. I was doing a little digging and looking around at you know what some of the teams you've played for and stuff. You've had some championships. You've had some big moments. What would you say is your highest, the pinnacle of your hockey career? What is so far, and mind you, because there's a lot more to come, no doubt. But what would you say is the highest honor? Maybe that's not the right word. What's the best memory that you've had?
I think winning my first championship in Brooks, like the AJ and the national championship, that was a pretty fun moment. Like, we battled the championship series, was a long battle, won a couple games in OT, so that was pretty fun. And then winning the national championship game, we were down 1-0 the whole game until 12 minutes left, and then potted 4 goals at the end of it to win it. So that was probably the best moment.
Did you get one of them?
No, I didn't.
Oh, come on, man.
I know. I tried though, but I didn't.
I'm just giving you a hard time. That's awesome, though. Anytime you can win a championship, that is obviously a huge accomplishment. And I know this Wings team and this organization, the ownership, the coaches, everybody, you know, in 2019 to win the national championship and have that Robertson Cup sitting right here between Coach and I when we were doing these shows. Wow, I mean, that was amazing. And the whole community was behind it and felt all of that. So I can only imagine how cool that was for you. All right, so how did you get your start, you know? Excuse me, folks. Sorry about that. But did you have parents or maybe a brother or sister or somebody like that who kind of led the way for you? How did you get started in playing hockey? And tell us a little bit about your family life.
Yeah, so my sister did figure skating when I was younger at the local rink, like 10 minutes from my house, and then saw the hockey players across the rink and just wanted to try it. And then me and my dad did the dad and me learn to play, and now we both play. So kind of funny story.
Did you ever play any like what do they call it, roller hockey or anything like that?
No, I never played roller.
Just always ice.
Never roller, yeah.
Okay, very cool. All right, you got any pets at home? Cat or dog person?
I have 3 dogs right now. 2 of them, black labs from the same litter.
Best
about
dogs.
to turn 2, so they're
Best dogs.
a little rambunctious, and then we have an older lab.
Labs are my absolute favorite dogs. I love them all, but
Yeah.
that's awesome. We have had a couple of cat people, but most of the time it feels like hockey players tend to lean towards being a dog person. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but I find it kind of interesting. Anyway, all right. A couple of goofy questions before we get into some more serious stuff here. What's your go-to coffee order? You're going through Caribou, Starbucks, or Dunn Brothers, wherever it might be. What are you going to order?
I'm going with a plain cappuccino, straight cappuccino.
Okay. That is the second time I've asked that question where I've been somewhat surprised, actually.
Why are you surprised?
Well, because usually it's this half-calf pile gobble, you know, all the gobbledygook that goes on.
Too much going on.
Yeah, thank you.
Too much.
Like, we're even in a hotel lobby, and I see guys doing this and that and putting stuff in, and I'm like, just drink it black. What is wrong?
I agree.
But then there's Ronan, I shouldn't say that, not Ronan, excuse me, Conan, who he said he doesn't drink coffee. It's like, if I'm going through there, I'm drinking water. I'm like, okay, that surprises me too. So, all right. So you come into this locker room now. You've got what, 22 games played?
Yep, I think so.
Coming through with some, you know, some big time defensive play. What made you become a defenseman? What made you decide, you know what, this is something I want. This is where I belong.
I feel like growing up, I was flipping between forward and D, and then honestly, I don't know the answer. I just kind of stuck with D, thought I was just better at it.
Yeah.
So stick with what you're good at, I guess.
Good answer. What makes a good defenseman?
I think just being responsible defensively, and then something else that I add.
Are they the best skaters?
I think so, because half the forwards can't skate backwards, so you don't trust them playing D. Well, a D-man can play offense too, so.
I've often said being able to backpedal and skate backwards is a big part of that. That's great, though. Half the forwards can't skate. Oh, okay. We're moving on here, folks, before any of the forwards in this locker room come at us. Guilty pleasure food. What's something that you just like, you know what, I know, because I know you guys take care of your bodies and you're, athletic and working out and trying to, eat right, and your diet is important and so on. What's something that you're just like, somebody puts those in front of me, I'm going to eat them? Is it like a cheese puff maybe, or some guilty food that you just can't say no to?
I'm going to go with the mini powdered donuts. You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Yeah, I love those. Those are really good.
I love the ones that have the coconut on them, though not even the powdered so much, but anyway, I know exactly what you're talking about. Especially when they're like, you get them like not from a gas station or something, but from the oil when they're like fresh.
Oh my God, don't get me started on those. So good.
So good. All right, so before you started, with junior hockey and so on, obviously, you're in school, you've got school things going on and so on. There's always a class clown. Mm-hmm. There's always somebody that is, talking too much, or that studious person that is taking every single note and asking questions and raising their hand all the time. There's all kinds of different personalities in that classroom. What are you? Which one's you?
I think I'm a pretty high energy guy, like come to the rink excited every day, and then that kind of leads other people to get excited too, have a good time.
So would you say that if there was a report card from a teacher that said talks too much, does this, that, what's the bad thing that they're going to say?
I don't think it would be talks too much. I don't think I'm the biggest talker. I don't know what the bad thing would be.
Yeah,
I don't know.
God, we were saying before the camera started here, I know we talked a little bit that I haven't had a chance to get to know you as well as I do with some of the guys like Backel and Coppola and so on. But that being said, who would get that on their report card? Who would get that says, the teacher says, great student, talks too much, needs to focus more, You're looking around at the lot?
Yeah. Reimer is a pretty funny guy. I think he's a good guy. But I like that. I like having, keep it light. So he might be one of them.
I think last time I had him on Wings Weekly, I said, you never shut up. He loves to talk. Right?
He does.
But it's great. A great personality and a great leader for sure, too. Okay, so now we talked with Coach Langer just a little bit ago here about top prospects and what it all means, and how important it is to teams, to players, to everybody. And I learned a little bit about the selection process, which I honestly didn't know. But you are one of them that are going to go to play in the top prospects and play with the Central Division. How important is that to you? What does that mean to you to be selected, not only, as we found out now, not only by Coach Langer, but by Coach Cody Campbell and from Minot and from from the other coaches that are also involved in this when they look at you and look at film and say, I want this guy on my team. That's kind of a big deal.
For sure. It's a big honor, obviously, to get picked and showcase our skills in front of some colleges. Obviously, that's the end goal, is to leave here with a commit, and then learning that the other team's coaches pick the team. It feels good knowing that they respect you as a player and think you're a good player. So that's a huge honor.
For sure. And like I was saying earlier in the first segment, I didn't know that. I thought it was always just selected by the coaching staff of the team and said, these are the guys I want to go. But I really do feel like when you have not only your coach, but other coaches that are saying, I want this guy.
Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is, and so congratulations.
Thank you.
And enjoy it. Eat it all up while you're there, because I've talked to guys who have gone to prospects before and who have had a good time playing the game, obviously, and enjoying it, but the whole experience of it all, and it is a hard thing. Like Coach said, Coach Langer mentioned just a little while ago, having to manage your body and make sure, because you got to be ready to come back and play the game. But it's a big experience as a whole, just the whole thing, the whole environment, and all of those scouts and all of those people that are there. So take some time. I know it sounds cliche. I'm old, whatever. smell the roses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Enjoy it. And, you know, it is a lot of pressure and a lot of stress, no doubt, but take some time to enjoy all that. All right, so up next, you've got North Iowa. Talk to Coach a little bit about some of the keys and so on. Now, this is a team you guys have seen. I love to hear a player's perspective versus a coach's perspective. Now, granted, you're on the same page and you're hearing the same message and you're hearing the same cues and you know what you need to do in the same keys. But what as a locker room, what do you guys feel like you need to do? Do you have these messages like when Coach is in his office and you guys are in here in between periods or whatever else? Are you talking to each other and saying, here, you know, here's what we got to do? Because North Iowa's coming off a big weekend.
Yeah, I think as a team we're really successful when we have clean breakouts and manage the neutral zone well, like limiting our blue line turnovers on the offensive and defensive blue line. And then when we get that and we're playing in the O zone, I think we're a really good team.
So a couple of keys there. Perfect.
Yep.
Well, that's what we're looking forward to, folks. North Iowa Bulls coming into the ODI Center after the Wings come away with a split with Minot this last weekend and some strong play both Friday and Saturday, but certainly on Saturday night. But they look to continue to have, hopefully, continue some success here and continue to, as Coach said, climb those standings when you look at the Central Division. This weekend, again, North Iowa Bulls, Friday, January 26th. Corporate game sponsor is the House of Glass. Free Kids Friday. Kids 12 and under receive free admission with the purchase of an adult ticket. Saturday, January 27th. Corporate game sponsor is Dakota Fluid Power. College night. Show any college ID at the door and receive $5 admission. Post-game party with the team at City Lights Bar and Event Center following the game. That is just south of the overpass in Aberdeen on 2nd Street, and will be a good time, no doubt. Sponsorships and reserve season tickets are available for the remainder of the 2023-2024 season. Call Aaron at 605-380-5852 for more information. And for all the latest news and information on the Wings, visit AberdeenWings.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, which now is X, and on Instagram. Plus, this can be seen on YouTube, so check that out there too. All right, Wes Turner, thank you so much for joining us. I say this all the time, but I know that you guys are busy. I know that you've got school and you've got work and you've got workouts and you've got practice and all those things, but it's always great to get a chance to talk to you guys and for the fans to be able to get a chance to see a little bit about, you know, kind of what goes on beneath the bucket.
Yep, thanks for having me.
All right, folks, that'll wrap up this week's Wings Weekly.